wasn't when, although I wasn't there. He said I was his friend, which came as some surprise. I spoke into his eyes. I thought you died alone a long, long time ago. I know, not me. I never lost control. Your face took place with the man who sold the world. I laughed and shook his hand and made my way back home. I searched for form and land. For years and years I roamed.
Welcome back. What the hell's going on, guys? Good afternoon. Good morning to some of you. Good evening to some of you. We've got 7 minutes left. It's been quite the day. It's been a Green Day Friday. A Green Day Friday. Nothing new has changed so far since I left you a few hours ago. What was running is running. Unless you cut your legs off, you've continued to run. Not much time left. If you don't know what the hell it is you're doing, but you have made money, and by that I mean it's on paper, but you've got no clue what happened, then you should take profit and realize your gain and be happy with what you've got, because you came from nothing and now you have something, right? That's for some of you. For the rest of you, your story has just begun. You're on a path. Some of you are up 100%. You just got in, 6 hours ago? You've got some time, my friend, and you need to make the ultimate sacrifice of turning your broker off right now. There's only 5 minutes left. Is the market going to crash in the next 5 minutes? Probably not. Your position probably is going to be okay. If you're in value, you certainly don't need to worry. You've basically gone through just about everything the market can throw at you, and you just can keep gaining points. So you don't really need to do anything unless you're just trying to take some money home. Maybe you're going to a casino tonight. Maybe you have some plans. Maybe you need some cash. Maybe you got to take some money out of your broker. Or if you've leveled up your game and you've ordered, I am not paid to say this, an Interactive Brokers credit card, guess what? You can use a credit card that goes against the balance of your positions. Not just the balance of the cash, but the entirety of your account. If you have, let's say, $100,000 in your IB account, you can spend $100,000 on that card. It will just be a margin loan against those positions, but if they're going to be profitable anyway, there you go. So let's say you're up 100 grand this weekend right now. Guess what? You could go to Vegas right now, and you have not realized those positions and they're on paper, and you could go spend that 100 grand that you haven't even taken profit on yet. Amazing stuff. Can't wait to hear if anyone does that this weekend. Anyway, we're looking pretty good. Let's go take a look at the vote. The vote says push the entire position on the CGC monthlies. We've got April monthlies, March monthlies. Not much has happened on the underlying, but there's a lot of action on the options, right? A lot of action on the options, which is not showing itself on the underlying just yet, besides when the news hit. So, again, you've got a long... think about this. First of all, we took most of these positions on Friday, right? Most of the pot stock positions were on Friday, have been pushing them. Of course, we've taken some more. But either way, however you decided to do this trade, you've barely moved on the underlying. So, yeah, you're pushing your damn position. Let's be honest. What's the point? What's the point if you bought it and sold it right here? What did you do? Did you accomplish something? No. Doesn't even make sense. Good decisions. Again, retail stores really blowing out of the water today. Big value tickers like X continuing. Travel continuing. Aerospace and defense continuing. Big BA. Big ass. Looking great. Again, travel. Things like Save going through converging supply. Excuse me. Very straightforward trades. Again, whether you took these earlier, you took them today, I would just say that you probably should have done something. There are so many charts, and it's really hard to get to fuck it up. Like, I'm just gonna be honest with you. You guys mess it up, and again, some of you are gonna post some profit that I'm going to be critical about for sure, and that's why you posted in there, so I can be critical. Again, there's just too many. There's just too many positions to really mess it up, and that would mean that what you're actually doing is you're purposely blocking out the trades that we just talk about every single day. You don't even have to like them. There's just trades that you can't avoid. They're just there. If there's money in front of you, you're just not going to take it. You're going to be like, well, that's someone else's money, and I'm a little pussy, and I'm not going to take the money. Okay, then that's what you are. That's fine. You're happy with that? No problem. You want to give me the money? Go buy some WBA calls, because I have a few too many over here, and listen, I can only handle so many hundreds of percent. Only one man can only have so many percents. And at some point, I'm gonna have to sell it. So I'm gonna have to sell it. Anyway, we get 50 seconds. Any last minute? Any last words? Any last words? Anybody? Anybody have anything? Is there anything we should do? Anything at all? Did you put your GE position on? Oh no. One of you are like, oh fuck, I forgot about my GE. I've got 26 seconds, 25. You better go grab it. You better go grab it. You know what's gonna happen. You better go grab it. I'll even give you a couple. Kid. Uh-oh, you went all in on Tesla. Oh man. That's too bad. All in on Facebook. Too bad. 1-0. The day is fucking over. It's the weekend. It's the weekend. Those of you that are heading out for the weekend, have a great weekend. Enjoy. Hope you had a lot of fun this week. I'm going to be here for the next 20 minutes or so. We'll look over things. 4:20 or so. I got to get the Uber. But I'm going to go into the profit section first today, and then we'll go over the week. This was a great week in terms of not just whether prices were up, prices are down. Again, it doesn't matter if the market's up, market's down. We trade it no matter what. Or we know when to be on the sidelines, right? So I see it's populating right now. First of all, what a fucking week on the Dow, boys. The nightly news play will be talked about. It will be talked about. Not every week do you get the nightly news play. There's going to be mamas and papas and grandmas and grandpapas watching the nightly news tonight, and they're going to talk about what a week the Dow had. And people are going to go, the Dow Jones? You mean those 30 companies that no one really cares about, that are blue chips and that you put into an account that you forget about for 10 years? Exactly that. And we traded the options, baby. Complex derivatives. What are those? What an absolute week for value. Honestly, what a fucking week. I feel vindicated. I feel like I'm noticed for the first time in my life. Just kidding. Don Troll. All right, profit. Let's see. I don't give a fuck. $8 from Met. Go and yell at me, Donnie boy. I'm not going to yell at anybody. I'm going to tell you what a moron, but I'm just kidding. $8? Hey, positive. That's just today. I think you had some numbers earlier this week. If you don't have them today, that's okay. You had them all week. Who cares a shit? At least you got high spirits and, who cares? Wiz, $4,000 today. Took a $10,000 account to $18,000 this week, says Wiz. Hey, not bad, buddy. That's really not that bad. Wiz coming in with the 4K. This stream is brought to you in 4K, and Wiz just did it on paper, in numbers. Awesome fucking job, buddy. Awesome job. Proud of you. That's a great number. Something to be proud of, something to celebrate. Don't spend it all at once, and don't give it to your kids. C Trader, $5,200. C Trader's been putting some points on lately, and for quite some time. That's an awesome fucking number. Awesome number, buddy. Ecto, 4.5%. Surprisingly, he says, that's a great number as well. Be proud of it. Mobsky, with the -0.25%. Now, Mobsky's had some pretty big numbers this week, so no one can shame him on that one. 4% by Chris, another day, another dollar for him. That's a big whale account. We like to see that number every single day being positive. Good shit, buddy. Let's see. Tiger, with the 1,075, we heard him talking about, I think he's no longer, his account's over 25,000, so he's no longer PDT ruled. He can finally become a man. His nuts have dropped. Or, as a woman, his nuts, or her nuts have dropped as well. She can finally trade. Good job. Spoon, with a 12.5%. Spoon's been obviously killing it. Says mostly previous holds and a few reloads. I like the reload idea. And Brian, the Glizzy, which some people apparently don't know who Glizzy is. It's because he was Brian previously. Still Brian. $310. Learned a lot. Didn't rope myself, but ramen for the weekend. Okay. So I won't see you in Vegas then. David with $160. Another positive day. Awesome job. Good shit, guys. Good shit today. Awesome shit this week. Brian says they canceled my invite. Yep, that was me. Sorry. Your gains were not on par with the it's the $3,500 tournament. If you didn't have that in cash, yikes. Anyways, guys, let's talk about this week. Let's talk about it. Let's bring it again. What was there to learn this week? What would be like a takeaway of this week? The takeaway would be that, first of all, from last Friday, we bought on the dip over here everywhere, especially on the value side, right? I mean, only on the value side, basically. But we bought everything on Friday, which is this candle here. Why did we do that? And why did we pick what we picked? Because leading into this week, we want to make some fucking money. We want to make some money. What happened? We were getting oversold in a lot of areas. What happens when there's a lot of fear and things are being oversold? Even something like this is too much. And again, travel was not the most bullish thing this week, but this is too much over here. And I'm going to take you through some of the charts to show you the overall, right? What are we looking to do when we're buying on a day like this here from Friday going to this week? Is we're trying to catch the next trend. So a consolidation or a downtrend leading into a new uptrend. That's what we were trying to get. And how do we know to go do this into this week? Because on the value side, again, everything is pointing towards the upside. And what was happening? Yields were still increasing, and they were stabilizing last week. But remember, last week is when all the shit was going on. So again, all of this nightmare fuel over here, all of this shit was going on. And what was happening? Rotation. We understood that rotation was going to turn into momentum this week on value. So we wanted to get it. We were already trading value, but we wanted to fucking really get into gear and make sure to catch it. What happened to start this week on Monday? So let's put it into this week. We got confirmation of momentum. We get confirmation of momentum on the value side. Things like the fucking Dow exploding on Monday. Monday was a knee jerk of a day for value. And a lot of us don't remember because Tuesday is the day that the NASDAQ went up 4%. But on Monday, we exploded on value. There was charts that were just literally jumping off the fucking page, right? If the Dow looks like this, there's obviously something going on, right? Let me show you the small caps. Small caps, same thing, gapping up here. This move continued through the entire week. So let's say you didn't get anything from Friday. You still had all of Monday to get into position in a lot of different things. So if we look at individual positions, I'm going to use the retail stores as an example because it's a little bit easier to see. And I posted the chart that Friday so that you could have it for Monday. On Monday, all you had to do was be buying from the open. There was plenty of chances to be buying from open if you did not buy from Friday. All you had to do was just enter a position, pull the trigger. And again, a lot of this comes down to you can be wrong. You may not know. You may not be right. But it's being too sensitive and not being able to pull the trigger that hurts you. So if you look back in hindsight, it's like, well, shit, all I had to do was enter a position. Yeah, Really, that's all you had to do was enter a position, right? This week, if you entered anything, it could have been out of like 500 tickers, you would have made money and probably doubled what you put in. You probably would have doubled what you put in because again, if you look at the options on everything, no matter where you put that money, a lot of those were doubling. And I want to show you some examples, some of the artificial things as well, because again, what did we come into this week saying? All of last week, all I could tell you guys was that we are going to get gamma squeezed out of our mind. Gamma squeezed out of our mind. Why? Because we have the highest volume and the most options ever for March monthlies, which again expire on March 19th, next week, next Friday. We have 1 week. We knew this. We knew this because we were watching the market and we were seeing it play, and we saw, you can just go look and see that the volumes are that high and that there's that many contracts. We know this is a thing, and we can see when things start to get going. So something like this, all of the charts that look like this, meme stocks, everything. We had this big squeeze back in the end of January. And then to start February, we were trading flat. We understood that we were stuck in supply. And then as soon as volatility started getting going, we knew the gamma was back in. Market makers were playing the game again, and we need to take advantage. We need to be ready for every move that's going to happen. Violent moves to the upside, violent moves to the downside. What does that mean? That means short-term positions on anything gamma related like that. So again, there's plenty of positions that, yeah, we're going to push them long-term. Great. Energy, yeah, we'll push energy. We'll push banks long term. We're not going to short term trade those. But the other trades, these are short term trades. You can get into March monthlies, you can get into April. You can really play the game in a short sort of sense and get in and out of those how you need to, pushing them through the winnings and then taking advantage of switching back and forth between tickers. Retail stores was a very good way to play this week, again, from Monday. Tuesday, let's talk about Tuesday a little bit. What happened Tuesday? Well, we had yields increasing and everything signaling that reinflation was happening. The economy's getting back. Vaccines are coming in. People aren't dying as much anymore. And so you know what? People said, let's stop trading tech. Let's go trade things that are tied to the economy, like value. Awesome. We're all having a great time. And then guess what? On Tuesday, the dumb dinosaur wakes up, the little pea brain in his head triggers, and everyone went and bought tech all at once. Does anyone know why? No one fucking knows why. Who knows why? No one knows why. There's plenty of gamma-related things here, market makers buying, but people were still buying this shit, and some of you went and bought stuff. I went and bought things. Not things completely tied to growth, things with their own sort of flavor to it, like pot stocks, continuing from Friday, and things like semiconductors, clean energy, sun power, run, all the fun ones that we made fucking money on this week. But again, this move here, it really fucked with a lot of you, I'm sure. And I know it did, because I was making fun of you all while it was happening. Why? Because it's a surprise to all of us. It's a surprise to me. I can't tell you that the NASDAQ was going to fucking go 4%. Nobody knew that. What was the one consistent thing this week? Value just kept going. Value never changed. During this, if the NASDAQ goes up 4%, shouldn't like the Dow, shouldn't small caps, shouldn't something else take a hit for this to go up 4%? Nothing took a hit. Everything continued with it, which just was more risk on mentality. All of equities are risk on. We've been talking about risk on through all of the NASDAQ going down because it was all going into value. During this week, this would really throw you off if you wanted to take this seriously. This is basically like a fucking snake telling you to eat the apple. You whatever, people. What happened this week? It moved very much how we would expect it to. We need more clarity over here, needs more consolidation. Understood that it was going to come up here into the level yesterday, came down back into this trend line today. It seems to be in a good spot to enter its consolidation phase, sort of work through some of this. Would it be up in a month from now? Yeah, I bet it'll be up in a month from now. Do I want to trade it for a month? No, I'm going to trade everything else that's working. This was really interesting. Again, we don't really know until we see more. There's a lot of reasons why this wouldn't happen this week because, again, the gamma situation where all the calls out there. The problem I have with some of that rationale, because some of us are going to think that, is that Apple barely fucking moved and Apple has the most contracts out there. This thing is garbage. Look at that. That's disgusting. It doesn't even look like the NASDAQ moved this week because it fucking didn't. It didn't get an inflow. It's just risk on mentality overall, right? It's hard to gauge some of that don't look too much into it. Again, stay in your lane. You know how much money we made on value this week? Again, the Dow play is just silly. It's really fucking silly. But again, it's really easy to get caught off guard and be like, oh, I'm going to go trade tech stocks now because tech stocks are back. Are they though? Are they though? Here's Apple, the largest tech company in the world. Here's Apple. Here's the all-time high. And then guess what? Guess what? Small cap value that we've been trading since the fucking presidential election is in all-time high right now this week. We went into all-time high, exploding 2% every single day this week. Today, cooling off a little bit as we come into a new resistance. The Dow pushing through all-time high since the beginning of the week. From the very start of the beginning of the week, from Monday, we pushed through all-time highs every single day. Every single day. S&P yesterday, even getting in on a little bit of the fun, pushing into all-time high yesterday. Now it's sitting here. It's a little tech-driven, but again, we trade through all-time highs. Why? There's no supply in the all-time high. There's no resistance. There's nothing that stops price from continuing to run, continuing to get you paid. There's no reason to go try to trade a loser. Betting on the underdog is never a good way to make money. It's never a good way. And again, I posted in the chat, it's like the people that say, oh yeah, everyone blows up their account once or twice. No, just unsuccessful people. Unsuccessful people do. Who the fuck blows up their account and think that's good? Come on now. Trading dumb trades. Yeah, losses make me humble. No, you're supposed to be humble when you're making money, right? Remember these things. Remember some of these things, right? Okay. Other individual, we've already talked about X, these kind of trades. Again, individual trades like this, even if you didn't buy this on Friday last week when all of us bought on Friday, the X trade, was 100% on Monday. You already made 100% on Monday. Where are you now? Some of you in like fucking God knows where, 750% land. I saw some of you are in 500%. You can't really make a wrong decision at that point. You can't really fuck it up at that point. Are you gonna mess up the trade over here? Like, how many of you are really realistically going to fuck this trade up? Like, how do you even do that, right? Again, these are the kind of trades that, how many times have we taken this trade before it broke out? We took it 1, 2, 3, and then the 4th time we took the trade. Meanwhile, we also made 100% on each one of these trades because these are big candles, 12% candles. Okay, so we made 100% on each of those, so we'll keep doing it. This is the reason why we make the trade. Not these ones, not those 100% trades. This is why we take those trades, because of this breakout, the breakout mentality, that this can happen at any point. But DBX, we take this trade every single time on support because of the breakout mentality, the breakouts that can happen. We don't do it for the first 100. We do it for the next 100 and the 100 after that and the 100 after that. And we push that fucker until there's something that tells us not to push it anymore, right? And at that point, I could tell you anything. I could tell you to transition it here, take profit there, and guess what? You're already up a few 100%. There is no fucking wrong answer at that point, right? I could tell you, I told you to transition here, take profit, and then look to re-enter it. You could push it, and then maybe it breaks even on Monday, and then you take profit. None of those things are really, you can't really mess it up at that point, right? There's no wrong answer. It's just, all you have to do is get in the position, right? Get in the position. That's it. Viacom, I don't want to be too critical on this because I bring it up too much, and the problem is, again, that I know a lot of you just don't look. You don't look. This chart, been trading it for a while, and I showed the replay earlier. But how many months now have I done the sort of the rhetoric of you want to be buying a trending chart, and yeah, we want to catch it on the breakout, and when it's consolidating, we'll be out of the position, and yes, you could push through it if you have long-term contracts, right? So let's say you bought Marches back here, then well, you'd be pushing them probably up to where it is now. Sure, if you bought long-term, you can make short-term trades. 100 different ways you could play it. All of them involve buying. All of them involve buying. If you bought on Friday, you could have just bought March monthlies on Friday. Guess how many percent that is? There's some contracts in there that if you bought on Friday that are over 4,000%. You didn't do a fucking thing. You didn't do a goddamn thing, right? 2,000% was the most viable out of most of those. What about if you bought down here? Well, now we're really getting talking, right? The reality is all you had to do was just buy it. You had to just buy something. A chart like this will hurt some of you because you will start to make decisions that you're going to try to just get things like this. It doesn't always work like that, right? That DBX chart, maybe that turns into a Viacom like this. Maybe the X chart turns into this. That's what X was before. This is what X looks like. Yeah, we made 3 zeros on X the first time around, right? By avoiding charts like this, all you're doing is hurting yourself because you're trying to convince yourself that things, it's just not knowing the possibilities. It's not knowing what's possible because you're told and you think that things can't keep going. Oh, price is too high. Price has gone too far. Oh, that's too much, right? And I talk about it with energy, with banks. How many of you continue to do the same thing? We took this trade for the first time over here, and we kept trading it over here, yes, and then pushing it again. How many of you continue to avoid the trend that's in front of you and then make bad decisions because of that? It's something that has to be removed. That's what you learned this week, just like you learned last week and the week before that, is you're avoiding what's actually working in front of you and trying to make something that's not working work. How many of you really actually, Facebook's a meme, but how many of you really wanted this to fucking work? And this is all you can talk about with your buddies and shit. This is terrible in here, and I think everyone can understand that this is the crazy supply, right? And I obviously talked about over here, this is just super bearish. Not much you can do in here, but it doesn't matter what the ticker is. If this is Facebook, if it's some other big tech company or like Tesla going down for an entire month and trying to make it work, what you're doing is purposely blocking everything else that's around you when you could just be making money on those instead of losing money on these other fucking the garbage tickers that you're trying to make work. And some of you do it by joking, but I promise you that some of you that do the joking and memeing about these kind of tickers and you talk about with your buddies and stuff, that time that you're wasting doing that is time that you could use well spent making money on something else. And I will be critical about it. It is about having fun, having a good time, but you are actually purposely losing money. You're literally losing money by just jerking off and being a dumbass. Like half the time, you guys spend time doing shit. Listen, we all have lives to live and shit, but if we're going to be honest, how many of you are actually putting time in to fucking make money doing this? You guys are here all day hoping that I'll give you a fucking trade. Half of you don't look at the charts. And you keep trading garbage, and the things that you talk about and look at for news are the garbage tickers because you're hoping that maybe there'll be something that'll make it work, right? It's bullshit. It's stupid, right? You're going to keep losing money. What's the point? What's the point? You're trying, and then you're also not trying. All you have to do is remove that toxic and negative part, which it is negative because it's hurting, and remove that, and then just look at what's in front of you. Just look at price. Remove the name, remove everything, and you're going to start to see. You know what I had to do with BA? I had to remove the name. BA's a fucking dog. It's terrible. It's a terrible chart. Terrible company. Whatever. I had to remove the name and realize that aerospace and defense, this sector is going to pop off. This is back on the 19th. I started posting those charts. SPR, TGI, RTX, DFEN, all of these things. GE, right? Want to get involved? Remove the name and trade the chart. The price is in front of us. How many of you traded BA this week? Probably maybe 1, 2, right? How about last week, the week before that, right? Well, probably because I told you it was dog shit for so long you didn't trade it, right? Well, the same thing applies to me as well. You got to remove some of that sometime, right? How many of you waiting for news? How many of you, again, these sort of things that really take over the conversation with the way you make decisions, right? You got to be able to remove some of that nonsense and realize that, okay, that's not how all this works, right? That's not how all this works. Look at where like AAL is here. Bought this down here on the dip over here. Imagine being a trader that's in this position and selling it all the way through here. At what point then are those sellers, they're selling all through here, and then they're rebuying way up here? Where and why? We all have like some sort of problem where we do that. You got to just remove whatever that is, because there are certainly people that sold down here and then bought up here. You're momentum chasing. You don't need to be like that. Not when there's so many things in front of you. What about Rad here? Rad was straight up this week. What did you do with Rad this week? I know some of you traded this, but when did you exit it? Did you keep pushing the trade? Are you in the trade still? What about okay, how about something that's artificial, like WBA, that I fucking talked about on Friday, buying all of Friday? How did you guys take advantage of that? That's something that I alerted before I did it. Did you guys take advantage of that alert? Some of you are literally only here for alerts because you don't have the time to actually look at shit because you have your own jobs and shit and whatever. What about when I actually give an alert out? Now, I have been giving out quite a bit. We try to keep it less specific, but it happens. What about something like this where it was extremely specific? Did you take advantage of this? These calls are up over 700%. 700%, and the underlying has barely moved. Underlying is up just under 13%. And the contracts are all over 700%. All of them. All of them. All of the margins are over 700%. Did you take advantage of that alert? If you didn't, then when are you going to take advantage of an alert? And why do you need a fucking alert? Why don't you just learn something? Learn so that you can apply it. You pay me. I don't pay you. You're here to fucking learn shit. When I do pay you, do you actually take advantage of it? That's when the difference is. So you got to figure out where it is that there's something in there, right? Some of you took this trade. I know you did. Because there was no one trading the options. And I know when people started trading it. And then all of a sudden, everyone wants to go trade it, right? This is a great example of this from this week. Again, you can go back. I would go listen to that clip on Friday last week. It was right around the 10 o'clock mark. 10 o'clock. You'll see it on the clip. And figure out how and when things started to change in here and learn how the fuck a gamma squeeze works over here, and learn also when the options, and go look at the options, look at the option charts, and figure out when they started gaining value. Figure out when could you be min-maxing through some of this, right? This kind of shit's going to keep happening. This will keep happening, and we have a lot of examples of this. The DFEN chart is another example. I think Venki's not in here, but Venki ran into the same issue that we basically owned the entire option. No one was really trading these options because there's no movement on this chart, and it's leveraged and it's a little wonky. And so we actually probably compromised. We were most of the option chain. Let's just be honest, right? And now all of a sudden there's all kinds of volume in there, right? Well, so now you're holding everything else that everyone else wants to get a part of. How do you manage that trade? Some of these are really fucked up. Like some of the percents are really messed up. Over 1,000% in like a day. How are you going to manage that trade? Some of you were waiting for alerts, and then you get in this situation, you got no idea what you should be doing, right? Today, I told you, do you guys remember when I was talking about it over here? It was about 10 o'clock. It was right over here. There's people in this chat that started to sell their contracts, but since they put the orders to the exchange, no one wanted to buy them, and so they started to put the price down 100% lower. This price moved like 0.5% on the underlying, and they're putting the contracts for 100% lower. Do you guys remember earlier this morning? And I was roasting them saying, can you fucking stop? What's the point? You're putting the contracts 100% lower for 0.5% move on the underlying just because no one's buying them, right? Yeah, no one was buying them at that moment. Yeah, that doesn't mean since, well, I put my order to the exchange, no one's buying my contracts, I better put them 100% lower. That's fucking nonsense. You know what happened afterwards? You gained another few 100% on those contracts. Another few 100% in fucking a few hours, right? It's insane. That's like the level of, that's the common sense factor I talked about. We talked a lot this week about common sense. You got to use common sense on these trades, right? Yeah, you can get out of the trade, but don't go put it for 100% cheaper. And then guess what? I told you I was going to buy it. Guess what? I bought it, and those contracts are up a few 100% from when I bought them. So yes, there's people in chat. I think we already know, but again, common sense. Common sense, right? There's a couple other trades out there we don't really need to talk about, but I would say if you guys learned something, post it in the chat, because again, there's a lot of examples this week. There was so many green days. I think it makes it's you kind of forget about what you learn. We learn a lot more on red days, but don't forget what we learned from all of the green days this week, right? It's very easy to be like, well, yeah, the Dow play just kept going, right? Oh, yeah, the nightly news play just kept going. What is there to learn? Yeah, we got it, confirmation. Well, the learning would be back here somewhere. Learning would be back here, understanding it. How do we keep pushing it? Are we getting the move? How do we manage that Tuesday day? Go figure out what the hell happened on that day, right? There's a lot to learn. Be interested to hear. Don't have enough time, though. So here's what I'm going to say. It was a lot of fun this week, guys. A lot of fun. Come back next week. Some of you got a whole new account with money that you didn't have before that now you can trade with. I'll see you on Monday. I'm going to have a lot of stuff over the weekend, okay? So watch out for that over this weekend. I'm going to be a little busy, but still have stuff that's periodically going to come out. I will see you on Monday morning. Enjoy your night, your evening, your morning, wherever the hell you are. And I will see you then. Enjoy, guys.